scolding tone. Bending down to speak to the cat, "You must have given the boy a fright." The cat meowed and rubbed against Catherine's bare leg. "Did Sarabeth scare you?" Catherine asked, still smiling. "That cat has a strange sense of humor. She's evil, pure evil." She chuckled as if she'd said something hilarious. "I'm okay," Evan said uncertainly. "Watch out for Sarabeth. She's evil," Catherine repeated, bending down and picking up the cat by the scruff of its neck, holding her up in the air in front of her. "Evil, evil, evil." Seeing the cat suspended in the air triggered an unhappy howl. His stubby tail went into motion and leaped up at the cat, barking and yipping, missed and leaped again, snapping at the cat's tail. "Down, Trigger, get down," Evan cried, struggling to get out of Catherine's arms. The cat swiped a clawed black paw at her, screeching in anger and fear. Trigger barked and howled as Evan struggled to pull the excited Cocker Spaniel away. Evan grabbed hold of Trigger as the cat swung to the floor and disappeared into the door. Bad dog," Evan whispered, but he didn't really mean it. He was glad Trigger had scared the cat away. He looked up to see Catherine, still filling the doorway, staring down at him sternly. "Bring the dog," she said in a low voice. Her eyes narrowed, her pale lips pursed tightly. "What?" Evan gripped Trigger in a tight hug. "Bring the dog," Catherine repeated coldly. "We can't have animals fighting in this house." "But, Aunt Catherine," Evan started to plead, then remembered she couldn't hear him. "Sarabeth is a bad one," Catherine said, not softening her expression. "We can't get her riled, can we?" She turned and started down the stairs. "Bring the dog, Evan." Holding Trigger tightly by the shoulders with both hands, Evan hesitated. "I have to take care of the dog," Catherine said sternly. "Come." Evan was suddenly filled with dread. What did he mean? What did she mean, take care of the dog? A picture flashed into his mind of Catherine standing in the doorway with the kitchen knife in her hand. "Bring the dog," Catherine insisted. Evan gasped. What was she going to do to Trigger? A plastic checkered tablecloth. She frowned, her eyes studying him as she brought over his snack. Wait, did I miss a page? Oh, sorry. Chapter 4. "I will take care of you, doggy," Catherine repeated, frowning at Trigger. The dog whimpered in reply. "Come, Evan, follow me," she said impatiently, seeing that he had no choice. Evan obediently carried Trigger down the stairs and followed his aunt to the backyard. "I'm prepared," she said, turning to make sure he was following. Despite her age, she was at least 80. She walked with long, steady strides. "I knew you were bringing a dog, so I made sure I was prepared." Trigger licked Evan's hand as they walked across the yard to the long fenced-in area at the back. "It's a special place for your dog," Catherine said, reaching up to grab one end of the rope that stretched across the run. "Attach this to his collar, Evan. Your dog will have fun here." She frowned disapprovingly at Trigger. "And there will be no problems with Sarabeth." Evan felt very relieved this was all Catherine wanted to do to Trigger, but he didn't want to leave Trigger tied up in this prison of the backyard. Trigger was a house dog. He wouldn't be happy by himself out here. But Evan knew he had no way of arguing with his aunt. "Catherine is smart in a way," she thought bitterly as she hooked Trigger's collar to the rope. "Since she won't learn sign language and won't lip read, it means she gets to do whatever she wants and no forehead a bat and looked up at the old woman. She had her arms crossed in front of her chest, her blue eyes glowing brightly in the sun, a cold smile of triumph on her face. "That's a good boy," she said, waiting for Evan to get up before starting back to the house. "I knew when I looked at you that you were a good boy. Come to the house, Evan. I have cookies and milk. You'll enjoy them." Her words were kind, but her voice was hard and cold. Trigger sat up in an unhappy howl as Evan followed Catherine back into the house. Evan turned, intending to go back and comfort the dog, but Catherine grabbed his arm in an iron grip and stared straight ahead, led him to the kitchen door. The kitchen was small and cluttered and very warm. Catherine motioned for him to sit at a small table against the wall. The table was covered with a plastic checkered tablecloth. She frowned, her eyes studying him as she brought over his snack. He downed the oatmeal raisin cookies and milk, listening to Trigger howl in the backyard. Oatmeal raisin wasn't his favorite, but he was surprised to find that he was very hungry. As he gobbled them down, Catherine stood at the doorway, staring intently at him, a stern expression on her face. "I'm going to take Trigger for a walk," he announced, wiping the milk mustache off his upper lip with the paper napkin she had given him. Catherine shrugged and wrinkled up her face. "Oh, right, she can't even hear me," Evan thought, standing at the kitchen window. He pointed to Trigger, then made a walking motion with two fingers. Catherine nodded. "Phew," he thought, "this is going to be hard." He waved goodbye and hurried to free Trigger from his backyard prison. A few minutes later, thank you, Nala, for knocking that down for the 40th time. A few minutes later, Trigger was tugging at the leash, sniffing the flowers along the curb as Evan made his way up the block. The other houses on the street were about the same size as Catherine's, and they all had small, neatly trimmed square front yards. He saw some little kids chasing each other around a birch tree, and he saw a middle-aged man in a bright orange trunks watching his car with a garden hose in his driveway. But he didn't see any kids his age. Trigger barked at a squirrel and tugged the leash out of Evan's hand. "Hey, come back," Evan called. Trigger, disobedient as always, took off after the squirrel. The squirrel wisely climbed the tree, but Trigger, his eyesight not what it once was, continued the chase. Running at full speed, calling the dog's name, Evan followed him around a corner and halfway down the block before Trigger finally realized he had lost the race. Breathing hard, Evan grabbed the leash handle. "Gotcha," he said. He gave the leash a tug, trying to lead the panting dog back to Catherine's street. Trigger, sniffing around a dark tree trunk, pulled the other way. Evan was about to pick up the stubborn dog when he was startled by a hand grabbing his shoulder. "Hey, who are you?" a voice demanded. Chapter 5. Evan spun around to find a girl standing behind him, staring at him with dark brown eyes. "Why'd you grab my shoulder like that?" he asked, his heart still pounding. "To scare you," she said simply. "Yeah, well," Evan shrugged. Trigger gave a hard tug at the leash and nearly pulled him over. The girl laughed. "She's pretty," he thought. She had short, wavy brown hair, almost black, and flashing brown eyes and a playful, teasing smile. She was wearing an oversized yellow t-shirt over black spandex leggings and bright yellow Nikes. "So who are you?" she demanded again. "She's not the shy type," he decided. "I'm me," he said, letting Trigger lead him around the tree. "Did you move into the winter altar house?" she asked, following him. He shook his head. "No, I'm just visiting." She frowned in disappointment. For a couple of weeks, Evan hadn't Trigger, Evan said, and waited for her reaction. Yeah, that's pretty stupid, she said, especially for a Cocker Spaniel. Thanks, Evan said uncertainly. Trigger turned to sniff the girl's hand, his tail wagging furiously, his tongue hanging down to the ground. I have a stupid name too, the girl admitted. She waited for Evan to ask. What is it? He said finally. Andrea, she said. That's not a stupid name. I hate it, she said, pulling a blade of grass off. Pulling a blade of grass off her leggings. Andrea, she stretched the name out in a deep, cultured voice. It sounds so stuck up, like I should be wearing a corduroy jumper with a prim white blouse, walking a toy poodle. So I'll make everyone call me Andy. Hi, Andy, Evan said, petting Trigger. My name is... Don't tell me, she interrupted, clamping a hot hand over his mouth. She certainly isn't shy, he thought again. Let me guess, she said. Is it a stupid name too? Yeah, he nodded. It's Evan. Evan's stupid. She laughed. That's a really, really stupid name. He felt glad that he made her laugh. She was cheering him up already, he realized. A lot of the girls back home didn't appreciate his sense of humor. They thought he was silly. What are you doing? She asked. I'm just walking my dog, exploring the neighborhood. It's pretty boring, she said. Just a lot of houses. Want to go into town? It's only a few blocks away. She pointed down the street. Evan hesitated. He hadn't told his aunt he was going into town, but what the heck, he thought. She wouldn't care. Besides, how could she? Besides, what could possibly happen? Chapter 6. Okay, Evan said. Let's check out the town. I have to go to a toy store and look for a present for my cousin, Andy said, hoisting her bike up by the handlebars. How old are you? Evan asked, tugging Trigger toward the street. I'm 12, she said. Me too. He said, can I try your bike? She shook her head as she climbed onto the narrow front seat. No, but I'll let you run alongside. She laughed. You're a riot, he said sarcastically, hurrying to keep up as she began to pedal fast. And you're stupid, she called back playfully. Hey, Andrea, wait up, he called, stretching the name out to annoy her even more. A few blocks later, the houses ended and they entered town. A 3-block stretch of low, 2-story shops and offices. Evan saw a small brick post office, a barber shop with old-fashioned barber pole out front, a grocery store, a drive-through bank, and a hardware store with a large sign in the window proclaiming a sale on birdseed. The toy store is on the next block, Andy said, walking her bike alongside the sidewalk. Evan tugged at Trigger's leash, encouraging him to keep up the pace. Actually, there are 2 toy stores, an old one and a new one. I like the old one best. Let's check it out, Evan said, examining the cluttered window display of the video store on the corner. I wonder if Aunt Catherine has a VCR, he thought. He quickly dismissed the idea. No way. The toy store was an old clapboard building that had been painted in many, many years. A small painted sign in the dust-smeared window proclaimed Wagner's Novelties and sundries. There were no toys on display, though. Andy leaned her bike against the front of the building. Sometimes the owner can be a little mean. I don't know if he'll let you bring your dog in. Well, let's give it a try, Evan said, pulling open the door, tugging hard on his leash. Trigger led the way into the store. Evan found himself in a dark, low-ceilinged, narrow room. It took a while for his eyes to adjust to the dim light. Wagner's looked more like a warehouse than a store. There were floor-to-ceiling shelves against both walls, jammed with boxes of toys and a long display counter that ran through the center of the store, leaving narrow aisles that even someone as skinny as Evan had to mustache that seemed to frown at Evan and Andy as they entered. "Hi," Andy said, timidly giving the man away. He grunted in reply and turned back to the newspaper he was reading without responding. Trigger sniffed the low shelves excitedly. Evan looked around at the stacks of toys. It appeared from the thick layer of dust that they'd been sitting there for 100 years. Everything seemed tossed together, dolls next to building blocks, art supplies mixed in with old action figures. Evan didn't even recognize a toy drum set underneath a pile of footballs. He and Andy were the only customers in this store. "Do they have Nintendo games?" Evan said, whispering, afraid to break the still silence. "I don't think so, Evan." Andy whispered back. "I'll ask." She shouted up to the front, "Do you have any Nintendo games?" It took a while for the man to answer. He scratched his ear. "Don't carry them," he grunted, finally sounding annoyed by the interruption. Andy and Evan wandered toward the back of the store. "Why do you like this place?" Evan whispered, picking up an old cat pistol with a cowboy holster. "I just think it's neat," Andy replied. "You can find some real treasures here. It's not like other toy stores." "Well, that's for sure," Evan said sarcastically. "Hey, look," he picked up a lunchbox with a cowboy dressed in black. "Hop-along, Cassidy," he read. "Who's Hop-along, Cassidy?" "A cowboy with a stupid name," Andy said, taking the old lunchbox from him and examining it. "Look, it's made of metal, not plastic. Wonder if my cousin would like it. He likes stupid names too." "It's a pretty weird present," Evan said. "He's a pretty weird cousin," Andy cracked. "Hey, look at this." She set down the old lunchbox and picked up an enormous box. "It's a magic set. Astound your friends, perform 100 amazing tricks," she read. That's a lot of amazing tricks," Evan said back. He wandered further back into the dimly lit store, Trigger leading the way, sniffing furiously. "Hey," to Evan's surprise, a narrow doorway led into a small back room. This room, Evan saw, was even darker and dustier. Stepping inside, he saw worn-looking stuffed animals tossed into boxes. Games in faded yellow boxes, baseball gloves with the leather worn thin and cracked. Who would want this junk, he thought. He was about to leave when something caught his eye. It was a blue can, about the size of a can of soup. He picked it up, surprised by how heavy it was, bringing it close to his face to examine it. In the dim light, he read the faded label, "Monster Blood." Below that, in smaller type, it read, "Surprisingly miracle substance." "Hey, this looks cool," he thought, turning the can around in his hand. He suddenly remembered the $10 his mother had stuffed into his shirt pocket. He turned to see the store owner standing in the doorway, his dark eyes wide with anger. "What are you doing back here?" he bellowed. Chapter 7. Trigger yipped loudly, startled by the man's booming voice. Evan gripped the leash, pulling Trigger close. How much is this?" he asked, holding up the can of Monster Blood. "Not for sale," the owner said, lowering his voice, his mustache seeming to frown unpleasantly with the rest of his face. It was on the shelf here," Evan said, pointing. "It's too old," the man insisted. "Probably no good anymore." "Well, I'll take it anyway," Evan said. "Can I have it for less since it's so old?" "What is it?" Andy asked, appearing in the doorway. "I don't know," Evan told her. "It looks cool. It's called Monster Blood." "It's not for sale," the man insisted. Andy pushed past him and took the can from him. "Ooh, I want one too," she said, turning the can around in her hand. "There's only one," Evan told her. "You sure?" She began searching the shelves. "It's no good, I'm telling you," the owner insisted, sounding exasperated. "I need one too," Andy said to Evan. "Sorry," Evan replied, taking the can back. "I saw it first." I'll buy it from you," Andy said. "Why don't you two share it?" the owner suggested. "You mean you'll sell it to us?" Evan asked. The man shrugged and scratched his ear. "How much?" Evan asked. "You sure you don't have another one?" Andy demanded, going back to the shelf, pushing a pile of stuffed pandas out of the way. "Or maybe two." with it for a while. Gee, swell, Andy said sarcastically. You're really a great guy, Evan. I know, he said, grinning. Catherine was seated in the big armchair in the living room when Evan and Andy arrived. Who was she talking to, he wondered, hearing her voice. She seemed to be arguing excitedly with someone. Leading Andy into the room, Evan saw that it was just Sarah Beth, the black cat. As Evan entered, the cat turned and walked out of the room. Catherine stared at Evan and Andy, a look of surprise on her face. This is Andy, Evan said, gesturing to his new friend. What have you got there? Catherine asked, ignoring Andy and reaching for a large handout for the blue can of Monster Blood. Evan reluctantly handed it to her, frowning. She rolled it around in her hand, stopping to read the label, moving her lips as she read. She held the can for the longest time, seeming to study it carefully, then finally handed it back to Evan. As Evan took it back and started to his room with Andy, he heard Catherine say something to him in a low whisper. He couldn't quite hear what she said. It sounded like, be careful, but he wasn't sure. He turned to see Sarah Beth staring at him from the doorway, her yellow eyes glowing in the dim light. My aunt is completely deaf, Evan explained to Andy as they climbed the stairs. Does that mean you can play your stereo as loud as you want? Andy asked. I don't think Aunt Catherine has a stereo, Evan said. Well, that's too bad, Andy said, walking around Evan's room, pulling back on the window curtains and looking down on Trigger, huddled unhappily in his pen. Is she really your great aunt? Andy asked. She doesn't look that old. It's the black hair, Evan replied, setting the can of Monster Blood on the desk in the center of the room. It makes her look younger. Hey, look at all those books on magic stuff, Andy explained. I wonder why your aunt has all these. She pulled one of the heavy old volumes from the shelf and blew away a layer of dust from the top. Maybe your aunt plans to come up here and cast a spell on you while you're sleeping and turn you into a newt. Maybe, Evan replied, grinning. What is a newt anyway? Andy shrugged. Some kind of lizard, I think. She flipped through the yellow pages of the book. I thought you said there was nothing to do here, she told Evan. You could read all these cool books, Thrills and Chills, Evan said sarcastically, replacing the book on the shelf. Andy came over to the desk and stood next to Evan, her eyes on the can of Monster Blood. Open it up, it's so old, it's probably all disgusting and rotten. I hope so, Evan said. He picked up the can and studied it. No instructions. Just pull the top off, he said impatiently. He tugged at it. It wouldn't budge. Maybe you need a can opener or something, she said. Very helpful, he muttered, studying the label. Look at this. No instructions. No ingredients. Nothing. Of course not. It's Monster Blood, she exclaimed, imitating Count Dracula. It's Monster